So Fred met this girl. Her name was Harriet. And the first time Fred saw Harriet, I mean, he was just mind blown, like, like his brain just like shut off, you know. And Fred was actually a player, okay? He liked a lot of girls. He had girlfriends, actually. In the same school he was in with Harriet. Yeah, he had many girlfriends. And but when he saw Harriet, it's like sparks just blew in his head and he was like, you know what? This is the one, yeah? So he decided, you know what, I'm going to go after her. So he starts pursuing her, and he finally gets her. And Harriet was actually hard to get. She is not an easy girl. She's not. So they started dating. Fred introduced her to his family. And Fred actually really liked Harriet, you know, and Harriet would cook for him his favorite meal, and he loved it, okay? So Fred went and got a job, started working, and one day when he had gone to visit Harriet, he actually discovered that he wasn't the only guy. No, and that just kicked, you know, it just ticked him off completely. And he just decided, you know what, I can't. I love this girl so much, and I can't just let her go like that, you know. No, I'm not going to just let her go like that. So Fred decided that he was going to act like he had forgiven Harriet for 2 months, and he led her on. And Harriet, you know, she was doing the same things, you know, just the things she used to do before whatever happened, like cooking for him, spending time with him. He would come to her place, she would go to his place, and he would still give her allowance, you know, pick her up at school, you know, they would meet up and go for pizza and stuff. And Fred, on the low, was actually planning his revenge. He was chatting with her friend, Julie, who always had a crush on him. Yes, and Fred, being a ladies' man, yeah, before he met Harriet, he knew how girls, you know, work. Yeah, if you hit on one of them, you treat them so nicely. The friends would want to, you know, sample and see what's packing. You know, what you're packing or what you holding, dude. Yeah, so he knew Julie was curious, okay? And so he planned to actually revenge with Julie. So he invited Julie over to his place for a date. And at the same time, he invited Harriet to visit him very early the following morning. Yes, so he invited Julie over. You know, he cooked her some good food, yeah, chicken and rice, and Julie loved it. And they put on some R&B, they danced, and then one thing led to another, and boom, it was like pa pa pa, you know, they were knocking boots up in there, okay? And Fred did this, and when he was doing this, all he could think about was Harriet. Like, the guy was just banging Harriet like that, and so it just made him angry, and he was banging, you know, Julie like pow, 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 you know, harder and harder and harder, you know, because he was so angry, yeah. And when they were done, they were sleeping. They went to bed, sorry. And when they were sleeping, the following morning, they woke up to Harriet screaming and insulting them. You know, like Harriet was like, what in the Grim Reaper's ass are you doing? You know, Julie, how could you do this? What the fuck is you doing? You know, Fred, you know, and Julie was butt naked and she was like, you know, trying to dress up and stuff like that, and she was trying to get her shoes and stuff, and Harriet grabbed her by her hair. Yes, she grabbed her by her hair, and you know, she just pulled her to the door, and Julie was crying and begging. He's like, I'm sorry, Julie, I didn't mean it. It was the devil. Harriet was like, the devil? Bitch, you better get the F out of my man's house. Yeah, and so Julie left, and it was just Fred and Harriet. And Harriet just, looked at Fred, and she was just crying like, Fred, how could you do this, Fred? How could you do this? How could you do it? And she's crying, she's sobbing that ugly girl cry, like tears and mucus and stuff like that. And then Fred looks at her and he's like, excuse me? You are asking me how could I do what I did? What did you do, Harriet? What did you do? I loved you. I gave up my playaways for you. What did you do? That's what I want to know. Well, whatever you're feeling, that's exactly how I felt. And Fred just went back to his room, switched off the lights, and he slept, leaving Harriet on the floor crying. Yeah, going like, what is just happening to me? Why is this happening? And so that's the story. And look out for chapter 2 tomorrow, because there's another story. And Little Secrets is about different stories. Every chapter has a different story. So look out for chapter 2 tomorrow.